Thanks for your hospitality, Dan. We'll see you soon.
It's always weird doing it without the mask on.
I won't look. I won't. You can turn around if you want.
No, just say, no one fights alone.
Oh, wow. That is chills,
There you
man.
go.
Question for Neil and Sam. What would be your all-time favorite quote that you voiced for Ghost and Soap?
I'll go first. I think for me, like the one that really stands out on this game is no one fights alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's because it's such a great, it's such a big reveal for Ghost to say something like that, given the guy that he's been prior to all of these missions, you know. And I think for him to say that shows that he's also evolving as a human being, right? And even though he's Ghost, and even with all of his experience and skills and rank and respect and everything else, he's still learning as he goes, you know. And I think that's a really kind of, I think for all of the characters, and I think in this game there's a lot of clues to who the human beings are behind the soldier in a way that perhaps you know hasn't been there in that way before. And I think that's really satisfying. It was great for us, you know, doing the job. It was really satisfying to see that depth in there, and those little clues, you know, help us figure out who these people are too. And but I was well aware that you know of who how Ghost has been operating up until we meet him this time. And when I saw that line, I was like, wow, that's hard for him to say that.
Yeah. This might be one of my favorite scenes, the one we're seeing here. 100%.
Doesn't Rodolfo say, you know, well, you know, but of course, you know, you would have stayed behind to help your friend, and Soap says no, meaning
that's right.
No, that's not really how this guy operates, and then that's when he says that.
But that's what, and that again, like that is another reason why this Soap and Ghost relationship works, right? Is that for whatever reason, you know, that doesn't need to be talked about now, but Ghost has, but it's clear that Ghost has a huge amount of respect for Soap, right? And that Soap, that he wouldn't let anybody, in fact, you know, for anybody else to talk to him the way Soap does would mean a different thing. But they've been through a lot together, and but what's great about that moment, I'm glad you brought it up, Neil, is that, you know, that, you know, they're pushing each other to evolve, right, without even realizing it. And, you know, for Soap to say something like that costs something for him, and for Ghost to correct the record and say what he says, that costs something too. And I think, again, like, that's why this game's so satisfying, is these characters they're going to places they've not been before, and you know, and but they help each other get there. And I think that's a good, you know, that's a good theme that's come out during this game, is that, you know, that they need each other.
Is it restrictive?
Maybe they didn't even realize it before.
Is it restrictive at all, Sam, that your character has a mask? I know you don't have a mask, you know, when you're performing, but does it ever come into play at all during the performance?
I think it's one of those things where it's really for the other guys that it's harder for, because they get to see, they can see I mean, we have a lot of business, you know, with the camera and everything in front of our faces anyway, which kind of must help, I think. But, you know, if I'm doing a scene with Neil can see the whole of my face, but in reality he can't. And so I would say, like, the work for me is the same, right? Because he's just the guy he's just the guy, and the mask is, you know, he can't see himself. So
yeah.
But I would say, I mean, I'd say, like, you know, I don't have to remember you know, that I don't have to remember that Ghost has a mask on so much, because he's just being Ghost, and the mask is who he is, and he is the mask, you know. But I'd say for the other characters, you know, they have to suspend their disbelief a bit more, you know.